All right, good morning. We are live on YouTube and live on Zoom. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Anchorage STrEAM Academy. I'm your host, Principal Adam Mokelke, and with me as always is the Batman to my Robin, Scooby-Doo to my Shaggy, Mrs. Sylvia Beyondich. Good morning, Sylvia. How are we doing today?
Good morning, Principal Mokelke. It's a great day as I start another rotation around the sun.
You are starting another rotation around the sun. And I wanted to start today by telling our audience and our guests that it is Sylvia's birthday. Happy birthday, Sylvia. We are celebrating you today. I'm super appreciative and thankful for you and all of the awesome things you do for our school and our school community. I hope you have a wonderful birthday today. So if anyone, you all have a chance, reach out and say happy birthday to Sylvia today. What do we have on the docket for today for morning coffee, Ms. Beyondich?
I'm excited about today because we have some great guests that are coming back and visiting us again from Parks World.
Yes, we do. We do have some awesome guests with us today. I'm excited about that. I do want to make sure that I share that Anchorage STREAM Academy empowers students to be involved learners and critical thinkers and engaged citizens who are inspired by the natural world. I also want to acknowledge that we are blessed and honored to have a school and go outside every day on traditional Dena'ina Athabascan lands. And we're thankful for that privilege. And one of our goals is to continue to be good stewards and caretakers of that land. It's especially fitting today, considering that our main focus of morning coffee this morning will be to talk about our parks and recreation in Anchorage. So we'll update you on a couple important things today and tell you what's coming up in the coming weeks on Morning Coffee and what's happening around STREAM Academy and STREAM Academy world. Talk a little bit about our nonprofit efforts. Maybe we can get an update on how the PETA Pit efforts went. But most of our time today will be spent with our two guests, and we'll get to them and introduce them shortly. I'm very excited about that. Upcoming dates to remember. You don't have to remember the stuff that's happening today because it's happening today. Next week, we have Mr. Mosen and Mr. Perkins, half of our 7th grade team presenting, and we're excited about that. And we also have the annual meeting for the nonprofit, not the APC, our nonprofit arm, STREAM Anchorage. And then the following week on the 14th, we have half of our 6th grade team, Codelman and Gable, presenting, and our APC monthly APC meeting is that night. So that's exciting. Also, a reminder on the 16th, on Friday the 16th, spread the word, mark your calendars. We'll send out some notifications. STREAM does not have school on Friday, April 16th. And that's not a district thing. That's only a STREAM thing. We have 2 days in our calendar that are days we cannot have school per our lease agreement with Wayland Baptist, which are regular school district school days. And so that's always a day in October, a Friday in October, and a Friday in April. And those are for the Wayland Baptist graduation dates. And those are set a year in advance. So even though things have changed a little bit with the pandemic, we still kept those dates the same because it's quite a process to change that. No school at STREAM on Friday, the 16th of April. There is school at regular ASD schools, just not us. Want to remind folks, today is our virtual working Wednesday. Our APC elected to keep Wednesdays virtual online for a number of really good reasons for the remainder of the year. Continue the online learning aspect to allow our hybrid students and our in-person students to connect in class together on that day, to continue working on important things from home, to give us that buffer with COVID tests and COVID protocols and cleaning if necessary, to give teachers some more time midweek to do all of the things they're doing, because they are now teaching in person and still teaching online for our hybrid students. It's a lot of work. So just a reminder, students should log into their Zooms today. They are required to attend Zoom on all of our students on Wednesdays. Check in, get counted for attendance, get some direction from the teacher, and then teachers will work individually or with small groups of students, and other students will be off to work on Alex or iReady or their projects or whatever it is they're working on. Mrs. Beyondich, would you care to give us an update on STrEAM Anchorage, our 501c3 nonprofit arm?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Principal Mokelke. So I was pointing out earlier that STrEAM Anchorage 501c3 is to Anchorage STrEAM Academy as Parks. Oh no, so now I'm going to get this wrong. Anchorage Parks Foundation. Aaron, help me out here. As
Anchorage Park Foundation is to Anchorage Parks and Recreation.
Yeah. So STrEAM Anchorage 501c3 is the fundraising arm of Anchorage STrEAM Academy. We just recently had a PETA Pit Sunday on it was last Sunday. PETA Pit reported to me that we haven't gotten our financial statement yet from them on how well they did, but they did report to me that it was the busiest Sunday in the past year, that they were overwhelmed, specifically at the Ducotnu location, which is the one closest to our school, with all of the STrEAM Rapids kiddos and families and supporters that came in. So that was super exciting that we overwhelmed PETA Pit. They were completely out of stock on all of their goods on Monday morning, and they had to do a rush order to replenish their stock at the Ducotnu. So thank you for all of the people that came out and supported STrEAM Anchorage on PETA's For a Purpose. And thank you to PETA Pit for including us in their nonprofit support drive. So we finished up the year. Their PETA's For a Purpose, it just happens during the winter months. And we were the end of the season. And so we'll hopefully get the opportunity to do that again next year. Our 501c3 has their annual meeting next Wednesday evening at 5:30. And if you would like to join that meeting just to see what your nonprofit does for Anchorage STrEAM Academy, then just call the school and we'll get the link to you. We look forward to a great fundraiser for the auction basket, and we're working very hard to make sure that our auction baskets, our online auction is successful and our classes are working and competing. So we're excited for that coming up as well.
Awesome. There's a lot happening with our 501c3, and that's really cool that we closed down PETA Pit. They had to go get more supplies. That's good. That says a lot about the supporters of STrEAM Academy, and thank you so much to everybody who went out on Sunday and got a PETA For a Purpose and supported our cause. So that's really cool. All right, up next, we have our two special guests this morning. We're really excited to have them with us, and they are Aaron Kirkland and Meredith Gutierrez. Aaron is the Community Engagement Coordinator for Anchorage Parks and Recreation. She acts as both Public Information Officer and Volunteer Coordinator for the department to ensure that Anchorage residents have ample opportunities to enjoy the city's parks, trails, and open spaces. And Meredith Gutierrez is a former board member of STrEAM Academy. I always add that plug, and has been involved with our school since the inception. She is the Youth Engagement Coordinator for the Anchorage Park Foundation. With her role at APF, she coordinates Anchorage's Schools on Trails program, assisting teachers in overcoming obstacles to take in their students outside. So welcome, Aaron and Meredith. These are foundations and organizations very close to our heart at STrEAM Academy. As you know, outdoor education is one of the three educational philosophical pillars of STrEAM, along with STEM and project-based learning. We say we go outside every day. We mean it. We live that. Usually it's not just outside every day, it's outside 3 to 5 times a day. We spend a lot of time in our parks. We are blessed to be right abutted up against at Wayland Baptist. We're abutted up against Arnold Muldoon Park. And so we are literally in that park every day. We also take advantage of several, Chugach foothills and several other parks that are very close by, just walking distance. So it's really important to STrEAM Academy, to our mission and vision, to our board, to our students and staff to be involved in the parks. So we are really glad to have Meredith and Aaron on. Good morning, Meredith. Good morning, Aaron. How are you today?
Good morning. It's a great day here. Meredith, you're in your car.
I am. Best internet around down by the highway.
That's right. So Meredith, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You could go first and I'll just kind of type in wherever.
Okay, cool. So thank you. It is great to be back. I also a little plug. So I'm a nearby neighbor of y'all, and I love seeing the kids outside all the time as I wander through the park, and actually both parks that are right near to you. So it's been so much fun to see this school grow and flourish. It's pretty exciting. So, so as Adam said, I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for Anchorage Parks and Recreation. I've only been with the department for about 6 months, which actually went really fast. So jumping into this realm during the pandemic has been pretty interesting. But that's a little bit about what I want to talk about today. We did a survey at Parks and Rec a couple months ago to see how people's behavior was being shaped by the pandemic. So were people using their parks more? Were they using it less? Were they using different parks? What were they doing in there? So we felt that the pandemic really was giving us an opportunity to check out how Anchorage was either appreciating or not appreciating the natural spaces that we've got. So we pulled together the data on that, some of that. Let me see if I can share my screen. This may not work, but we'll see. Aha. All right. I think I got it. Did I get it, Sylvia? Okay. All right. So the question we posed to everybody was, how is the COVID-19 pandemic changing people's use of parks, trails, and recreation centers? So we have several recreation centers here in town, and we felt it was important to include that, even though most of the municipalities' facilities were closed. But we felt that was pretty important to include. Whoops. Okay. So the bottom line is that trail and park use is absolutely up during the pandemic. So 28% over what is typically being used during the winter, early spring months. So we weren't really sure what that was going to look like. The fluctuation of mandates and guidelines in the lockdown, not everybody was clear on what they were allowed or what they weren't allowed to do. So, but what we noticed is that pretty consistently, people were able to get outside into a park or on a trail, which was pretty cool. And I don't know, I mean, show of hands. I mean, how many of you did? I did. I found trails right here. Actually, the North Gas Line Trail right here. I have never used it so much in the 15 years we've lived here. So I'm almost embarrassed to say that, but because we couldn't go anywhere else, that's where we went. Sorry, dogs. All right, so we had we were only expecting maybe 500 people to respond to this survey, but right away when we put it up on SurveyMonkey and shared it, it was pretty clear that people were quite anxious to say what they had been doing. So the bulk of our respondents were families with kids in the household, people who were working from home. Some of us are still working from home. And what was a little bit sobering was that 20% of those almost 1,500 responses had lost a job, had reduced pay, or reduced working hours, which really translates a little bit into, how do you focus now on recreation that you're able to do and you're able to afford when you don't have a steady income anymore. So Parks and trails really are an opportunity for people, even if they are undergoing a socioeconomic crisis. I just threw this in here just so you could see. I know, Adam, that you put out this survey to folks to take. So I really appreciate STrEAM Academy families jumping in to take this survey. So definitely, you can tell by the map, the places that have the most trails are the places that responded the highest, like the most remote trails. So Kincaid, Far North Bicentennial Park, getting toward Eagle River, in that direction. So Chugiak and Girdwood and Eagle River, yeah, they responded okay. A lot of people forget that those are still part of the municipality. So I would think that, maybe if we do a survey again, we need to plug a little bit harder those communities. Meredith, we're gonna need your help. All right, so what were folks doing? So most everybody, that was how we socialized with people. We were able to take walks together, ride bikes, do things socially distant outside. That's how we could see other humans. And I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty dang desperate to talk to someone outside of my house. 66%, yes, and people stated this, yes, trails and parks were improving my mental health during this pandemic. Because that's a focus of your school. I know, Meredith knows, being outdoors is proven to improve your mental, physical, emotional health. And there we have it. We know this. A good portion of folks were out biking on our paved trails. So we've got a crazy, awesome network of paved trails here in Anchorage. I'm going to talk about what this is going to mean now that pandemic is kind of waning and we're looking at park bonds, we're looking at things coming up. So how can we support this pretty upward trend in biking? And then, 34% people hit the dog parks, they went to the playgrounds and they just kind of visited the chalets, ran in and out. Kincaid and Selkirk Chalet really tried to be open so that people could use the restrooms. And the golf course at Rush and Jack, they managed to operate until October, which was pretty cool. So people ran in, paid their fees, came out, but we really tried to keep that open. And then, hey, some people tried something new. This was a great winter to get into fat biking. I don't know how many fat bikers out there. You can't find a fat bike for sale in Anchorage right now. Actually, in the whole United States, finding a bicycle is nearly impossible. So tons of people tried winter biking. That is definitely one of the challenges that we're looking at Parks and Rec right now, and especially this winter, because there are all kinds of new social trails that people have created in Far North and Hillside. And we're trying to figure out, gosh, what is that going to mean for future trail use? Some people tried Nordic skiing, which was awesome. We opened up some Nordic skiing classes this winter for folks. Yeah, I tried skate. I finally took a skate skiing class, which I've always wanted to do, which was pretty cool. And then, folks got out on the ice skating rinks and hit our rinks that we had a partnership with the school district. We opened up 8 rinks at different schools so that we could spread people out a little bit more. And I don't know if you all saw, well, I know Adam, you did on Twitter. I mean, we finally, yesterday was the last day of ice maintenance. So we stretched that out probably 2 or 3 weeks longer than we would have thought. So that was pretty cool. And about half of our respondents tried a new spot, which was pretty great. So, people went to different parks. I've heard from a few families that said, hey, we just picked a new one every week and went. Now, an interesting response, though, was that most people over 65, probably because they were so concentrated on staying home, pretty much stuck to their typical areas. And again, as we look at servicing the senior population, how can we meet that need? I think emotionally, a lot of people, especially over age 65, are not quite ready to jump into anything new right now, just because of the pandemic. So how can we support them where they are? So good news, yep, use is way up. So 55% of our respondents use trails more often than they did before, which was pretty great. And 40% visited a park more often than they did before. So people were getting outside. I look at it as, see, they're here now. You're using them, so take care of them. Our most visited, Kincaid and Far North by far. Far North Bicentennial Park, because it has so many remote options. And again, living right on the fringe of it, I get it now. I really get that you can just go and disappear and don't have to run into other people. Kincaid is generally the same way. And the Tony Knowles Coastal Trail, still by far the most popular route for people to just get out and take a walk or a bike ride. And that Moose Loop, thank God for the Moose Loop. That thing was so popular. And I don't know about you, but I can't unsee it now. Whenever I look at the back, I can't unsee the Moose Loop. 90% of our respondents said parks improve their quality of life. That is almost every single person said something close to this. They are vital to our community wellness and quality of life. They're a huge part about why I live in Anchorage. Me too. Me too. So what's this mean? Well, so the partnerships matter. And this is where, people like Meredith and Anchorage Park Foundation absolutely are mission critical to helping us construct, maintain, promote, help fundraise, all of the things we need to do to be part of this community parks and recreation system. So the other piece of that is understanding the diversity that's happening. So people are now doing activities that maybe 10 years ago, I think maybe 10 years ago, fat biking, what is that? What is that? So we have to figure out a way to work with all of these different user groups in a place that's pretty concentrated. We're seeing an uptick in conflicts. How do we manage that as a community? So those are going to be some of the challenges I think we're going to have to address in the next maybe just a couple of years. Public opinion matters. So your voice in this innovative, unique learning environment that you have created here, I think you have an opportunity as well to help us as an agency and help organizations like Anchorage Park Foundation make that kind of learning the norm instead of the exception, if that makes sense. Because obviously you've seen tangible results, we've seen tangible results, and maybe across the age spectrum, this can become something. We are so lucky here in Anchorage to have this. We're not everywhere else. And I remind people about that a lot. And then, the more we know where everybody is, the more we know what people are doing, the more we can take care of our community as a group. So I think the last thing I'd like to leave you guys with is I'm working on some projects for volunteer things. The citywide cleanup is coming up in May. Anchorage Parks and Rec is going to be featured as their highlighted department the third week of May. So I'm going to try to get everybody out to clean up their park that they've adopted, their trail space, maybe make some videos. So that would be my challenge to you guys, is to take even more ownership of what you're already doing that's so fantastic and see how we can work together. Yeah, so any questions? This was pretty interesting survey. We've never had an opportunity like this before because nobody has ever dealt with a pandemic like this in my generation. So any questions?
That is really interesting data.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's really encouraging and a positive for sure to see the increase in use and of our trails and our parks and people going different places and trying different things. That's all the kind of things that we really want to see in our community, and we want to instill in our students. So that's really awesome. Thank you.
Cool. You bet.
We have a question from one of our students. I believe it's one of our students, Stephen Boehner, or maybe his dad. I'm not sure. Stephen Boehner says, what does this look like for future parks, trails increase into the future?
Ooh, Boy, that is a heavy and loaded question. And Meredith, I know you can probably help chime in on that too. I think the one thing that's unique about Anchorage is that we also have these multi-land agencies all in one space. So if you look at Far North Bicentennial Park, that actually is made up of municipalities, so city, BLM, federal, and Alaska state parks. So we've got all of this kind of wound in here. And I think as far as creating new park space, that's always a really tough question because, Anchorage is a little limited by mountains and by water. So, but as far as maintaining and maybe adding to features that are already in existing places, I think we have that. But again, funds, resources are always the toughest thing to tackle, right?
I would encourage everybody to vote by April 6th.
Thank you.
Parks are on your bond.
Thank you. So I can't tell you that, but Meredith can.
That's why I'm here. Please vote.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how to vote, but I can encourage you to vote.
Exactly. And it does matter. I think we all, sometimes it takes tough situations to make us appreciate. I mean, my parents used to tell me that all the time, but we've just lived through a year of that. So how awful would it have been to try to be quarantined without the spaces that we had right outside our door? Yes, sir.
I really appreciate you talking about this. For our school, well, just back up. I think I agree that these trails are what make Anchorage so livable. And I live on the trails myself and committed to getting STrEAM students out on the trails. And we've done a really good job of seeing a lot of trails during the pandemic because of the parent help.
Yeah.
Russian Jack, Campbell Creek Trailhead, and Goose Lake, Hilltop. And one of the things that we find is that you have a group of 20 middle schoolers never been on the trail before. They just, they come together, they clump up, and these people that are, super familiar with the trails are blazing by on their bikes and their skis, and they're not quite patient sometimes. And I understand where they're coming from, but I get a little frustrated if my students aren't getting, like a great first experience because people are being rude. So I just want to get that word out to users that, there's people that have never been on these trails and they deserve, to experience them and not get harassed, etc.
So actually you bring up, what's your name, sir?
My name's Howard Mosen.
Hi, Howard. You bring up actually an excellent point, and I may actually loop back to the school for some assistance with this. One thing with more people out there means, like I mentioned, there's more potential for conflicts. And people that had been, I've skied Campbell Creek Trail every winter for 20 years, and, I pretty much do what I want. And then we're presented with this new group of people, or several groups of people who are new to this trail. Maybe everybody is not quite familiar or needs a refresher on trail etiquette and who does what. So I actually have heard from a couple community members in the last week or so, and one of them suggested creating like a trail etiquette video. So would the STrEAM students be interested in perhaps helping with that project?
My students would jump at that.
Okay. What grade are your students?
Well,
I mean, everybody can help. So
yeah, 6th, 7th, and 8th are who I'm getting out on the trail. Yeah.
Okay. Adam, why don't we loop back, and Meredith, maybe you can jump in on this too. I think it'd be really fun. Meredith and I love to get big ideas like this. But
Mr. Mosen, another way that I would encourage us is that to normalize having schools out on trails. That's not, you guys are so unique and doing such an amazing job in doing that. And I imagine it could be almost shocking because our community isn't used to seeing that. And that's kind of exactly what I'm trying to do. Is I talk about you guys all the time. It's like they go outside, they go onto their parks. And so trying to convince teachers and schools and principals, like going outside is the way to be, and having that group of 20 kids, like that's something our community should support and be excited about. And obviously there's, you can't please everybody, but I think if we normalize that, that'll help as well.
Make it the rule,
just try
not
to
the
make it more
exception.
happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Lily Goodman, I don't know if she's on today, but she works here. She made a great video about moose safety in the woods. You might have seen it. It's just called Moose.
Oh,
And
yeah. That's fantastic.
yeah, and I think we could use her humor and skills to create a good, cover some of the etiquette. Maybe we make a list first, run it by you, and then.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Yeah. Yes, I think it would be great because again, if you're obviously not the only person that is thinking this, and now it's just kind of struck me that we need to get this done because I think we're headed for another year of hopefully people being out, more than usual on their parks and trails. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Aaron. Are there any more questions for Aaron Kirkland? I really appreciate just seeing all the data and getting all that information. It's really cool that you were able to gather all of that information about our parks and really see where we're at. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We want to transition right to our second guest, our co-feature in the main event tonight. Meredith Gutierrez. Meredith, do you want to add or take another piece and talk more about things from your side of things when it comes to the parks and Anchorage Park Foundation?
Sure. I just have a few more updates of what Schools on Trails is doing to help support schools. So again, we support Parks and Rec, so everything that Aaron's doing is awesome. And we want to encourage everybody to get outside, but specifically me, I'm trying to encourage teachers to get outside because it's funny because I say these things, but I know I'm saying to a group of people that agree. So being outside, especially right now, especially for our mental health, especially for our safety, especially to kind of shake off the last year, even if you're not having a good time, just being out, you don't have to enjoy it. You just need to go outside and take 10 deep breaths can help you and help us as a community. And so, especially with school going back, that's what I'm doing. I would like to also reiterate that STrEAM is the poster school of going outside, and you guys are doing an amazing job. And so thank you for that. And thank you for showing that it can be done, that, even if the weather is bad, even if it's cold, you just go and you're teaching our Alaska kids how to be out there no matter what. And that's really the whole goal of being outside. And so thank you for that. Schools on Trails, a few resources that we do have that STrEAM can access is we have a new educator resource guide that we created this winter. And it is a brief overview of how to go outside. You guys are doing a pretty good job of that, but if you have teachers or parents that want to look at it, it talks about identifying your spaces. It talks about strategies once you're out there around safety and around student management. And then at the back of the resource guide, there's also a handful of activities that we call hip pocket activities that are 5 to 10 minutes that classes can do as a whole. And that resource guide is actually on our website. And I can send you guys that link. It's under the Schools on Trails page. And so you can access it through there, and it's open to everybody and has lots of resources. And then the other thing that we've created are portable outdoor classroom kits. So you can rent from us at no cost these kits that are 2 tubs, and 1 tub is full of there's 2 tarps, there's clipboards, there's little whiteboards, there's a bungee with clips on it so that you can put up between 2 trees to hang materials. There's extra hats and a few extra jackets. There's little hot hands for winter, and then some supplies. Thank you, Sylvia. That's awesome. And there's some supplies for those hip pockets that we were talking about. So that's all in that first tub. And then in our second tub is 30 Crazy Creek chairs. And so we loan those out 2 weeks at a time to any Anchorage School District school, which if you guys want to borrow them, you can. Although I hear that you guys have a teacher who has figured out how to make buckets work, which are also an amazing thing. because they can carry out all of their supplies in the bucket. They can be responsible for their own. They're easily stackable. I would suggest don't stack them if they're wet. But those are also fabulous. Thinking outside the box, that's what outdoor learning is. Being okay with being uncomfortable and just figuring it out. And it's totally, in my opinion, it's totally worth it. So if you're teachers, or if you know of teachers that are interested in these kits, feel free to reach out to me. They're first come, first serve. They're already reserved. They're kind of working its way up towards the end of the school year. Everybody wants to go out at the end of the school year. I would encourage everybody to go now. But it's a really amazing thing. And we have some amazing teachers in our community. And I just thank you for supporting outdoor learning. Thank you for supporting our community. And yeah, and if you ever want help or support, please feel to reach out. That's my whole goal, is to help any teacher in Anchorage take their kids outside.
That is an awesome goal. And yes, Meredith, I think you are preaching to the choir a little bit here. And we really appreciate, here in our 5th year of operation of STrEAM, that to have you guys come back on and join us at morning coffee and say that STrEAM is the poster child for accessing parks and going outside every day, and modeling, living outdoors and leaving no trace, and being good stewards of our environment and engaged citizens in our community. To have that echoed back from you is a huge honor. And so Aaron and Meredith, thank you both for acknowledging that and for seeing that. We really appreciate that. It's a barometer for us that, lets us know we're doing what our founders intended. We're doing what Scott Cleaver and Scott McKim and Liz Repetto and Andronell Brown and all the other folks, including you, Meredith, and at that time talking with those folks and being connected. We're doing what they envisioned. Our kids are doing project-based learning. They're not learning in a box, one subject at a time. Our kids are engaged in STEM across the curriculum, lots of STEM options, and our kids are going outside every day, and not just going outside, but learning outside every day, and learning to be good stewards of our environment and to really enjoy the outdoors. And so that's pretty awesome. Thank you both so much for all of the information, for your time, for coming on today. We do want to encourage everyone to get out and vote. Cast your opinion on those bonds, and get out and enjoy those parks. 55% increase in use of the trails, Aaron Kirkland said, and a 40% increase in the use of our parks. That's amazing. We're so lucky in Anchorage to have the trails and the parks that we have, and it's incredible. It's just such an incredible resource for our community and for everyone. I pulled this up while Aaron was talking. I wanted to
The moose.
just share the moose loop, the big moose loop. Mr. Mosen, Coach Mosen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, we're talking about things, and you both have been really complimentary about what STrEAM's doing. But for me, I feel like we're learning so much. We don't have it down. Like we're going out all the time, and every time we do that, we're getting better at it. We're learning, and it's not like, I hear, that you're preaching to the choir, but also we can't hear it enough, like different ideas, it's just like, as anywhere in the teaching world, like it's not like we have it down. We keep refining it. So don't feel like, like you're just telling it to people that already know it, because we're out there and we're learning what it's like to be out in the snow, out in the rain, so it's a dynamic thing. So thanks for all your ideas.
Awesome.
Kind of cut out on us a little bit at the end there, Mosen, but I think we got you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So there is an active Moose Loop map on our website as well.
Yes.
That has a couple sites or like points of interest and interactive and whole Google thing. So you can do that through our website. Also, it just came out.
Yeah, and it's
Just
really cool.
Another plug.
I have not done the
Man,
entire
Sylvia,
Moose Loop.
you're on it.
Is that how many, do you know, Meredith or Aaron, how many miles is the Moose Loop?
33 miles.
33.
33 miles.
It's a solid, it's a solid day of riding.
Yeah.
Of riding.
I've done
I was
it
thinking
once.
of
Or you
running.
can run it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're the runner. That's right.
Yep. I was thinking of running it. So
Yeah, you
You
should.
could do it section by section.
yeah, I think I do half and half, because half of it would be like doing a half marathon. I think I would do half the Moose Loop one day and then half the next day. If anyone out in STrEaM land, STREAM community, anyone wants to take me up on that challenge and join me,
Do it.
I think I have a new goal that just emerged from this. I think I want to run the Moose Loop this summer. I think I'll do it in two parts.
Okay, so video it when you do it. Like stop
We'll
because
we'll
that would be
catalog
really
it.
cool. Yeah.
Mr. Mosen, I don't hear you responding. I said, if anyone out in the STREAM community wants to take me up and join me on the challenge of running the Moose Loop in 2 stages this summer.
Yeah, I'm there.
You up for that?
I have to admit that one of the favorite outings I'd like to keep going with is the Planet ride.
It's the Planet. Yeah.
I think it's 22 miles round trip. And, but I think a goal of riding the Moose Loop and probably not all at once would be excellent. Oops.
Yeah.
Probably
Running.
The Anchorage
Running
Mayor's
the Moose Loop.
Marathon.
Running the Moose Loop, Coach. I want to run the Moose Loop. Go ahead. Tell us more about the Mayor's Marathon. I know that's a big.
It's changed. So did anybody ever run it before?
I ran the half. I ran the Mayor's half.
Yeah. Okay. So whereas before it used to start at Bartlett and wind through the tank trail and all that, so that part has actually been taken out. It's getting just more challenging to work with the military. So now it's a whole new course, and a lot of it is along the Moose Loop. So it's looking pretty cool. And if you actually register today by today, I think there's you can enter to win an Alaska Airlines round trip ticket, I think. So June 19th is the event this year. It's mostly in person, but I think there's a virtual option too. Which is good. Makes it so much more challenging, but we'll get there. People are really anxious to come back and do it. So the new course looks pretty nifty. You can go to Anchorage Mayor's Marathon and check it out. But a lot of it is.
I will do that today. I will check it out today and see. Thank you. All right. Once again, thank you to Aaron Kirkland and Meredith Gutierrez. What a great visit. Thank you so much for putting together that presentation, the slides, all the data. Just really, really cool. And I learned a lot today. And I don't mean any offense by this at all. I didn't expect to learn a bunch of new things.
Right.
And by that, I just mean I expected to visit and talk about things I knew or mostly knew about what your programs are and what's offered and what you do, and just sort of help to educate our greater community. And in actuality, you guys brought a whole bunch of new things forward, and I learned a lot today, and I really appreciate that. That's really cool. So I just encourage everyone to go check out the websites and check out what's happening. Look at the Schools on Trails program. If you have children in other schools, if you know teachers or you are teachers or educators in other schools, we just really strongly encourage you to connect with Meredith and connect with the Schools on Trails programs and just find those ways. I think I've done a couple, I hosted a Twitter chat, Ed chat, and done a couple other things when I've talked about outdoor learning. I think teachers get really intimidated by it because, not everybody's Coach Mosen, and not everybody can, teach a kid how to survive in the woods and start a fire and those things, I grew up doing that are central to me, or some of the things our other teachers do outdoors. You don't have to. Right. And Meredith will help you with that. Just taking your kids outside for 15 minutes and Mr. Mosen's got those buckets from Lowe's, and just letting them sit on a bucket and read a book. That's an awesome start. Just one of the most beautiful and effective things we do, and it's super simple, is we just go walk the trail. We just go walk the loop, walk the circle through Muldoon Park. And that's it. And Coach Mosen and I will start to do a little tree identification. Hey, this is a birch tree. Hey, this is a spruce tree. There's 3 or 4 different kinds of spruce trees out here. And it just starts to happen naturally, but just start small and start simple and just get kids outside and reach out to Meredith, reach out to us. And we want to help grow that. I mean, I care about STrEAM, but ideally I'd want every kid in Anchorage to love going outdoors and to get to experience the park. So.
Oh, absolutely. And raising awareness and connecting students, and families to those public spaces through all these hands-on learning that Meredith can connect you with. This is it. Engaging our schools, especially our Title I schools in these areas, because these are one of the reasons that this school was founded is because there were students in Title I areas that had never been to a park, had never been to Arctic Valley, had never done any of these things and gotten engaged in the natural environment. And so what Meredith does, what the municipality does is very important.
During the summer, I work with teenagers. So when your students become 16 and 19, they can apply to the Youth Employment and Parks program, and we help build trails and stream bank restoration. We actually resurface part of where the Mayor's Marathon is going to go, which is really exciting. But I work with teenagers that are born and raised here and they've never seen a glacier.
Yep.
And my new own internal purpose is that should never happen. I also work with a Title I school that is a mile as the crow flies from the Cook Inlet over on near Kincaid. And their principal tells me how they have students who have never seen the ocean because they never get up high enough to be able to see out there, and they never go that 1 mile. And so they're things that we take just as normal. Is not always, and it's a really good realization. And so anytime that you can encourage anybody to go outside, because it's planting the seed, like it doesn't seem like a big deal to take a 5th or 6th grader outside for a walk, but it's actually huge because it's planting that seed so that when they become adults, they remember and then realize they do need to, let's help take care of it. Let's be a community member. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Planting the seed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'll be in touch with you guys because seriously, this trail video, and I think the more that our community sees the young people being actively engaged and involved in what's going on in their parks and trails, then I think, again, this all just part of this perfect, awesome storm of awareness. So I think it'd be really fun. Yeah.
That sounds like a great project for us to take on and see which of our teachers want to tackle that with you. So I'll look forward to talking with you more about that.
Cool.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Erin.
Next thing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Meredith. Hoping we'll have you back on again in the future. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right.
It was incredible.
Right, Meredith, I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.
All right. Have a good morning, folks.
Bye, you guys too.
All right. That was pretty cool. Up next, we want to take a minute to give some time to our amazing counselor, Miss Bonertz. She's been working hard with our 8th graders on where you go to school next and how to transition to high school, which is really scary for a lot of our 8th graders and their families. But we have found that once our kids get into high school, they're well prepared. They do well. That's what we always get back. And also, Ms. Bonertz has also been working really hard to coordinate and facilitate our state peaks testing. So she's got a lot of things on her plate, and I just wanted to give her a chance to tell you about them. Good morning, Amy.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much. First of all, like she said, going back to the trails, you can't unsee the moose thing. So now I really want to bike ride it, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to get my bike fixed. So yesterday, Bartlett High School and East High School counselors were here helping our Bartlett bound and eastbound students register for their classes. So the counselors did a really good job of kind of giving some 411 info on what their school and programs and what to expect, that kind of thing looks like. But basically, the biggest thing is helping the students pick their electives. All of the students can do it. It's open right now for incoming freshmen. So if you have a student that's not zoned for Bartlett or East, but maybe they're zoned for West or Chugiak or Diamond or whatever, your student can go into Student Connect and they can pick their own elective classes. Counselors are asking that students pick up to about 6 electives, just to make sure, because you know, some certain classes get filled up pretty quickly, and so they don't want to be burdened with having to pick an elective for a student that they don't really know. So they want students to give them a big list of choices that they might like. If your kid is going to one of the big 8 schools, those big 8 schools have a plethora of really cool electives. There's tons of cool PE electives. I know Bartlett has like Adventure 101, which is pretty cool. And so there's lots of really cool electives, music electives, language electives. One of the things is Spanish is a very popular elective. So if your student is college bound and they want to try to get their 2 years of foreign language under their belts right away, have them pick 2 different languages besides Spanish, because Spanish does fill up. So German, French, something like that. If your student needs help doing that, you can always call their future high school counselors, but I am also happy to help them pick out some of those electives. I really encourage parents to talk to their students about what electives that they picked, because like, why would you want to go to orchestra if you've never played a single instrument? Things like that you might want to have some conversations with your kiddos about. So yeah, 8th grade is winding down. We only have 7.5 more weeks before they're freshmen. Don't freak out, parents. They're going to be fine. Peaks testing. Yes, we started peaks testing and we had 2 really good successful days so far. 8th grade and 7th grade have both finished their reading. Tomorrow, our 6th graders will do their reading peaks test. Next week will be math. Again, Monday, 8th grade, Tuesday, 7th grade, Thursday, 6th grade. They will be attacking math, and then only the 8th graders have to do science that following Monday on the 12th. Peaks testing, we are not doing any makeup. So if your child is unable to make it on a testing day because of whatever circumstances, they will not be given a makeup simply because of COVID protocols and our health and safety plan. And that's pretty typical across the district. We have a lot of schools that aren't doing that just to make sure we stay aligned with our health and safety plan. So if your child doesn't have the opportunity to take it, it's okay. There's a lot of kids that aren't able to take it this year. But the kids have been doing really good. We still encourage them to do their best, to try their best, because this is really the only benchmark we're going to get from them for a while, since last January, since they took MAP. So it's been a while. So please encourage them to still have a good breakfast, good night's sleep, and come rip roaring and ready to test. Are there any questions from any parents about high school or the peaks testing? So if
Right.
Mrs.
Sorry, Amy,
Beyondich,
I didn't see any. I was just going to tell you.
okay, yeah, Mrs. Beyondich said that if your student needs help with their password, Mrs. Beyondich can help them with their password. It's something that makes absolutely no sense with lots of digits and lots of numbers. So she can help with that if they don't know how to get into that. That is not possible for them to register for classes through Parent Connect, only Student Connect. Okay.
Right, and it's possible for them to change that default password, which is a ridiculous combination of letters and numbers. So I'll give them what their default password is and then advise them to change their password, because they're going to need Student Connect in high school a lot.
Yep. And last thing about that, 8th graders will have up until April 9th to be able to change any elective. So please make sure you're having a chat with your kiddo about what elective they've chosen. After April 9th, counselors will start scheduling.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah.
If 8th grade parents, if you have any questions about these things, call or email or get a hold of Ms. Bonertz and we will help you out. Ms. Beyondich?
I think you might be sharing the wrong screen top right now. There you go. but yeah, I would love to get all of our 8th graders into their Student Connect so that they're ready for high school, because this is one of the tools that they're really going to need to use.
Okay, do you see our morning coffee slides now? I don't know what I did. Technology. It's funny, I was just thinking actually, like, we've been doing morning coffee for a year, and getting it down to where it's smooth, switching between slides on and slides off and transitioning. And then of course, like as I'm thinking that, a couple more quick things to touch base on. I want to hear from Coach Mosen before we go about how ski club's going. But first, just a quick update. The online lottery, the first online lottery is closed. We had great numbers. We have pretty much filled our 6th grade seats for next year, and we'll have a waiting list, and things change. So don't panic if you're a 6th grade family that's really wanting to get in, but we got a lot of our seats filled, and they're looking really good. So still a few things to shake out. I took a look at some numbers, and I opened up some more 7th grade seats. So a few more students got a notification this morning saying they've been offered a seat for 7th grade. We have to project how many of our 6th graders we have now versus how many will return. And so we found that we lose 5 to 10 students in natural transiency. Families move, military deployment changes, families move across town or to another state. And so it's a little bit of a guessing game, and as odd science to predict how many seats to open. So just opened a few more 7th grade seats, so we'll be seeing some more options there. Not much for 8th grade. Our 8th grade class is always our smallest, and it's almost always all returning students. So call us, email us if you have questions. Lots of new families, so welcome to the 100 or so folks out there coming to STrEAM Academy next year new. That's really exciting. We'll plan a morning coffee soon and invite all of our new families to join us and welcome them. And so maybe we'll do that next week. So I think we have a little opening next week. So it's pretty awesome. The second lottery's open, right, Mrs. Beyondich? It runs through July. So if you missed the first lottery, just put your application in the second lottery. And we always end up, as things change, we always end up taking some of those students from the second lottery. So very exciting. Ski Club 2.0. Ski Club was so successful, and the snow has been so wonderful. It's snowing outside right now. It's beautiful. I can see the snow coming down in the park right out through the window. Ski Club was so successful with Coach Mosens and Coach Perkins. We did Ski Club 2.0. We ran it back again. Mr. Mosen, Coach, how's it going? What's the latest on skiing?
I heard a lot of people through the walls kind of saying some bad words about the snow coming down. I don't know. They heard what you were saying. They were like, I am so sick of this. But if you want a reason to celebrate this weather, there's 29 students who love skiing. And the weirdest thing is I sent a remind message about the week skiing to my first quarter language arts class by accident instead of my ski club. And 23 students showed up yesterday. I fixed it today, and no ski club today. I hope everyone goes out skiing. And tomorrow we have a huge day. We're going to Kincaid. We have an extra long practice. Mr. Perkins and I have been out there scouting out some really fun loops. And I know I shouldn't jinx it, but the snow has been, it just doesn't get better than this. And the kids, I have to give it up to the parents who have made it. They just show up with their kids, and they've just been amazing. So, I can't wait to get better gear, but the kids, they're just going with it. So anyway, we got ski club yesterday, 23 kids. Today, no ski club. Tomorrow at Kincaid, 3 to 4:30. Super excited about that. And I think a lot of kids maybe have never been to Kincaid. So I want to get some video maybe for our film that we're going to make.
Awesome. Tomorrow at Kincaid, 3 to 4:30. Is that what you said?
You're a good listener.
All right, 3 to 4:30 tomorrow at Kincaid. So next week on Morning Coffee, Mr. Mosen is on. Mr. Mosen and Mr. Perkins will be presenting at Morning Coffee next week. Get a check-in on grading and assessment with Ms. Kotelman, and looking at maybe adding a welcome new families feature for next week on Morning Coffee. So it's time to start to wrap up. Thank you all so much for being with us today and joining us on Morning Coffee. We had great presentations, great morning coffee today. We're going to wrap up and say goodbye. Remember, get outside every day and be good stewards of our environment and of the Dena'ina lands that we are privileged to walk. Thank you and have a great day.